Hello and good morning. I am doing this as a self-improvement exercise, if nothing else, if not to be communicative with my audience and to practice leaning into the word. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I think I say things a little too quick and you miss some of the sounds, and I don't want to sound too much like Brian Blessed maybe, but I have a little bit of RP on the words. I don't have a strong accent really in this part of Merseyside, with my background. It's a little more hard to detect perhaps, but something which has become clearer in my head. You see, I wonder if it is the Asperger's or the neural connections in your head. This is something else where you don't think of the next thing to say as much, but you think, I want to say that. I'm deliberately slowing things down a little here, aren't I? You deliberately want to think, say it before you forget it. It's a sort of spacey headedness. At least it's in your head that you want to say it, but it's a few too many things for the gist-like way that most people tend to think. And another thing, I want to go back to this cluster B stuff. Like, it has occurred to me that I've gone from a string of people in my life, relative relationship, not really, well, friendships maybe, family relationships, non-romantic relations, relative to relative, who have this sort of more narcissistic or codependent type of personality. But I've gone from wishing that they would all change to kind of wanting to escape anyway, but which I have done at intervals over the years. But now, instead of wishing that they would change what they do, how they talk to me, how they talk to each other, I now instead of that simply want to... My head has gone spacey. Instead of that, we are blonde today, or are we flashbacking? I'm thinking of the sort of patronising things like my support workers said about having the right patter. This is Scouse gentleman, having the right patter and confidence, and partly, and instead looking at somebody who you perceive to be a threat from the outset, especially if they upset you, and thinking straight away, no, they're no good, never again. Even to the point where they're probably somebody who is not overtly like that, where they do join good causes, but it is for that very reason that I would want them not to associate with that cause, to not be a philanthropist or in a philanthropic, altruistic, humanitarian justice organisation if they do not sincerely hold those values. if covertly, as a person, they don't believe in anything. They don't believe in anything, like narcissists never do. They're just interested in garnering narcissistic supply and perhaps things that improve their position, like finances, possibly reputation, responsibilities conferred on them, or the appearance or illusion of that, which give them an overinflated sense of themselves, overdosing on their own importance secretly, or getting away with things, or that enable them to manipulate other people and the situation, or make them think they can, and they get off on that. They get the relief from that. They get the relief from that, yes. The thinking about, perhaps this is for another video more, but how you feel sorry for the person in your family. And I am amongst all my family members, and looking back, if some of them were still alive, and adding the occasional family friend, it would probably only be me who's left, stood on the other side of the fence about the way different family members behave and their attitudes, or their values or lack of. It's just thinking, and they've all done all right for themselves. They're all sailing through life, mostly financially. Some would have more if they didn't waste their money. They certainly don't spend it on me. And like I'm contrasting the overt nature of certain relatives and the covert nature of my dad, where I used to feel sorry for him and the fact that they didn't even respond positively to his words, and feel sorry and that it was unjust for them not to be generally just a little bit more respectful towards him. And I've had this opinion for years and years, and I haven't questioned it enough until there's these clangers and these situations I'm in that are even more undignified and difficult to handle. How I've been reduced to the level I've been reduced to, taking handouts in my late 20s, early 30s, mainly early 30s, and when I could have been doing all sorts of things for a living, probably, and I intend to, but they're very avaricious and jealous people and controlling people. They like you to be isolated and smaller and have less. But the thing that strikes you, what's the word, I mean, galls, is that, that's more galling, is that they then say things in the opposite way, like, oh, but that didn't really matter. It didn't really matter that nobody listened to me. It didn't really matter that they were rude. It doesn't matter that colleagues I complained about did what they did. It doesn't matter that my wife, who doesn't understand me, does what she does. And this is cognitive dissonance, and it's very confusing. This cognitive dissonance proves that they don't really believe in anything, and they're sitting on top of their savings and living in quite pleasant property while you scramble around for the crumbs.